Me? I haven't made a video in so long. I thought about doing a life update in the beginning of this video, but you guys, it would be 4 times longer than the video itself, the content itself. And I thought about doing like a life update video, but I don't know, I feel uncomfortable with being like, I haven't made a video in so long. Now that I'm back, let's talk about me. But if you are interested in a life update video, I have learned a lot in the past, it's been now a year and a half. In 2016, funny enough, I made a video called How to Change Your Life. It was the first video I uploaded to this channel. And towards the end of 2016, I looked at my life and thought, I'm not happy with this life and I want to change it. And I had to put everything into practice that I've ever shared with you guys, that I've ever believed, that I've ever read. And 2017 will go down in the history of me and my life as a year that completely changed my life. Some of it was forcible change. For those of you that follow me on Snapchat, you know I had a cancer scare. That woke me up. And some of it was deliberate and a choice by me. For example, my relationship with money. I mentioned that in the last video that I made, and I can't tell you how much that's changed my life. I'm a novice at it, so I don't feel like I am the authority to speak on it, but I want to speak on it if it's something that, no, I know it is, because so many of you commented that it's something that caught your attention and you were like, wait a second, I've never thought about things like this. And I had no idea when I was talking about it in that video how much that would actually change my life. So if you guys are interested in the life update video, I would be happy to make it. I would be happy to share what I've learned. I would be happy to share some of my adventures. I went to Egypt in December. That was number 1 on my bucket list. If you guys have followed me for a long time, that was the number 1 thing on my bucket list. I saw the pyramids. I went to Luxor. I saw the most incredible things I've ever seen in my entire life. But 2017 was epic in every way possible. I actually have a couple of videos that I want to make from my adventures, things I've learned, things I experienced. But I also, like, if you guys are like, no, shut up and get back to regular content, I'm also totally fine with that. So that's why today's video is gonna be the psychology tricks that I use throughout my day to get shit done, to get myself out of bed, to be productive, to be motivated, and to be positive. Before I start with that, I have 2 courses that I've created. One I created last year, it's an interviews course. So for graduate school interviews, job interviews, interviews if you wanna be on the board of directors of some organization, if you wanna interview for an internship, anytime you need to interview with other human beings, this is what I created this interviews course for. And then last week I came up with a breakups course. Now, I've never talked about them anywhere except for Snapchat, and I mentioned the breakups course on Instagram stories last week. I know so many of you are gonna be graduating and you're interviewing for jobs. I am incredibly proud of these courses that I've created. I just haven't had the chance to talk about them anywhere else except for really on Snapchat. I will put links to that. In fact, I'm gonna have lots of information in the description box below. Go look at the pages, go see if it's something that you're interested in. The breakups course, I tried a different format of delivery and I did audio only, and based on one person's feedback, I think I'm gonna go back and shoot all of that in video because of just the way that that feedback was given to me. Somebody said something about like actually seeing me has a different effect, and there's so much more that I already want to add to the breakups course. So that the price of that course will go up in the future. The cool thing is whatever course you buy, whether it's one, the other, or both, once you buy the course, you have access to anything I add, access to bonuses in the future. I send out emails, I keep you guys updated. Like everybody who's signed up for the interviews course, you should have gotten an email about the best resume advice I can give you no matter what industry you're applying for, because I don't do resume advice because it varies by industry, but there's one piece of advice that's not really taught and I don't understand why, but it helps you get callbacks, it helps you get interviews, it helps people look at your resume a lot more closely. So that's the cool thing about the courses. I love the courses because I feel like we have this little community. Anybody who's enrolled in these courses, you get to learn, you get to grow. I love hearing the feedback. Because you have lifetime access, every single time you have a job interview or any type of interview, you can go back and watch them. Same thing with breakups. You can go back and watch it. Let me say something about the breakups course. It's kind of like a confidence course with a breakup theme. I am gonna do a confidence course later this year, but the breakups course is different than anything that's out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have created it. If I felt like it was already done, I wouldn't have done it. But I wanted to let you guys know because I've never talked about it anywhere else besides mainly on Snapchat. And if it's something that you guys want help with, if you have interviews coming up, it'll assuage your worries. I have the most incredible testimonials. I don't even have all the testimonials up. The feedback on both courses has been incredible. You guys are amazing. Go check them out. There will be links for both in the description box below, and then links to a bunch of other crap that I'm gonna talk about in the description box below. Whew, I haven't done this in so long, I'm like, I need to take a breath. Like I forgot how to talk this much and breathe at the same time. If this background does not look familiar, I am in my friend's house in Atlanta and we are leaving to LA together in 3 days. We get on the road, not 6, 3. We get on the road and drive across the country to LA. She's coming with me. When I told people I was moving to LA, of course, everyone's like, I wish I could move. I wish I could move. She used to live in LA. She loved it. And she's taking a chance and moving out to LA with me. And I couldn't be more excited that I have a friend whom I love and I respect, and she's a sharp businesswoman and she has a phenomenal brain and we get to do this together. So I am in Atlanta for just 3 more days. I've been here for the whole month of March and then we're leaving. But yeah, I haven't had a home since November, really a home, but I feel like the world has been my home. Like I was in London and Scotland and Egypt, and then I went to South Florida to build a business with my best friend, and you guys will hear about that really soon. And then I came to Atlanta, and then I finally will end up in LA, and I can call LA home. I can't wait. But anyway, today's video is going to be about psychology tricks that I use throughout the day to be productive, to be motivated, to get shit done, really. And I've talked about them here and there, mostly on Snapchat, but I wanted to make a cumulative video where I just talk about all of it. I basically walk you through my entire day and talk about the importance of not just what I do, but why I do it. I'm gonna talk about everything from like, what does my morning routine look like? How do I get out of bed? My morning routine is one of the things that has completely changed my life. In fact, if there's one thing that I want you to change, and I'm gonna do a summary in the end, but if there's one thing that I want you to change immediately after this video is over and you're like, I don't know where to start, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed by having to incorporate all of this into your life, change your morning routine. Give the first hour of the day to yourself and you will see your life completely change. So let's go ahead and get started with that. In the end of 2016, right around the time where I was starting to look around at my life and think like, I don't love my life, things need to change, I had also recently started having a completely different morning routine. The way that this came about was I have a lot of entrepreneurial friends, and everything from like early 20s to in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And the one thing that I started to notice about all my friends is I would, just in regular conversation, they'd say things like, all right, I gotta get to bed. It would be like 9 o'clock. I gotta get to bed. I get up at 6, 6:30, and I have a workout in the morning. So I start to notice this pattern of all these people telling me that they wake up early, even CEOs, even if you're not an entrepreneur and you have a high power position in what you do, there was this pattern that was emerging that people wake up early and usually exercise in the morning. So I did a little bit of research. I didn't have to go far. I went to the good old Google and I Googled it and I realized that a lot of people shape their entire lives around their morning routine. And I found this book called The Miracle Morning. Again, everything will be linked below. There's gonna be a ton of resources in the description box below, so don't worry about catching every little detail. And it's about taking the first hour of your day and dedicating it to yourself. Now, I recommend you read the book because it's incredible motivation. I read the book, finished it on a Friday, and woke up and had my first miracle morning on a Saturday, which was crazy because most people will be like, no, I'll just enjoy the weekend and I'll start this on a Monday. Everybody starts everything on a Monday. So I started having a different morning routine. Now I wake up at 5 a.m. I want people to know you don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to have a great morning routine. You might have a schedule or a job or school or something that might not allow you to wake up at 5 if you work really late. So the key is if you wake up now at 8 a.m., just wake up 1 hour earlier and give that hour to yourself. So you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm extra selfish. I wake up at 5 a.m. and I don't give anything to the world until 7 a.m. So I take 2 hours for myself, but I don't know, I like what I do in those 2 hours and it sets me up for success. I don't do my morning routine 100% of the time, but right now I've been out of the routine. I get into it and get out of it just because I've been jumping around in terms of where I've been living, but I crave it the way that I crave milk chocolate truffles. Like I cannot wait to get to LA, find a place to live and get into this routine because it makes me feel so good. Here's what I wanna say about your morning routine. If you wake up and you are looking at text messages and phone calls and social media and emails from work or emails that are advertisements, come buy this from our sale or this from our sale, you are giving yourself to the world. You are telling yourself and your brain that you belong to the world. You don't belong to yourself. If you want to lessen your anxiety, if you want to have less negative thoughts during the day, take care of number one. Number one is you. If you can't take care of yourself first, you have nothing to give the world. This is why it's so important the first hour of your day at least you give to yourself. The Miracle Morning suggests doing 6 things for 10 minutes each, so that's your 60 minutes. Everything from exercising for just 10 minutes, so like getting your body moving, reading, doing a diary, writing stuff down. When I wake up in the morning, my phone has been on I keep messing up airplane. This is the 4th time I've tried to say that sentence. So we're just gonna admit that I keep making the mistake, but I'm gonna say it and then we're gonna move on. My phone has been on airplane mode. Whew, why was that so hard? Airplane mode all throughout the night. So I don't have any social media notifications. I don't have any text messages. I don't have any missed calls. I don't have anything. I wanna wake up with a clear mind. So I put my phone on airplane mode. Everyone knows don't call Nara an emergency because she's sleeping. I understand if you have a job that you can't do that, or if you worry about your kids and you can't do that, but most of you can do that. You just don't want to because you're so connected to the world. It gives you anxiety to feel disconnected to the world, which is, it's an issue in itself, and I would stop and think about why you feel like you always have to be accessible to other people. This is a problem that I used to have, and it was so draining, and it was so bad for my body and my mind and my health, and it was not good for my life. I don't take my phone off airplane mode or anything. I put on music, I put on Stevie Wonder, and I jump out of bed, because how can you listen to Stevie Wonder and not be in a great mood? I have that Spotify playlist of happy Stevie Wonder songs. Again, I will put all that detail in the description box below. For me, when I wake up, I have to get up and I have to get my body moving. So I choose to exercise first thing in the morning. I get up, I get out of bed, I do something that makes me laugh. Even if it's I do something silly to make myself laugh. You can do jumping jacks. I have a friend, he kisses his pillow every morning to start his day with gratitude. I mean, talk about intention. To wake up, kiss your pillow and say, thank God I'm alive. I'm so happy that I get to live another day, and to jump out of bed and to start your day with that intention. Isn't that incredible? I love to laugh. That immediately changes my emotional state into something positive. I do not snooze. I know it's so hard, but do not snooze. You guys, if you snooze, I get it. Life is tough sometimes, or you gotta get up early. There's things that you don't wanna do. But if you snooze, you're basically setting the intention of the day to be resistance, okay? You're resisting waking up. And if you have the attitude like, I don't wanna get up right now, or I'm so tired, or whatever, you begin your day with resistance, and that resistance will follow you all throughout your day. You will have a bad day. You will have a bad day where everything seems like it's extra hard. Your mentality has so much to do with it. So get up and dance and sing and do whatever you need to do. Put on your happy music and get your mind in the right place. I brush my teeth, splash my face with water, and then I fix my bed. This is something that a lot of people talk about, but to get up and to fix your bed is you've already got something done and you have a sense of accomplishment. Now you just have to build momentum and get a little inertia behind that. But how incredible to wake up and already feel like you did something and you really haven't done anything. But in your mind, it's important of how your mind perceives that you just accomplished something. Then I go out into the world. I either go to the gym or I go for a walk. Now, this is something that I use throughout my day. It's called activation energy. Activation energy means you start something small and use the energy of already having begun it to do even more than you intended to do. For example, when I did my first Miracle Morning, I told myself that I had to get up and I have to leave the house. Like, I can't sit and meditate because I will fall back asleep. So I told myself I had to go for a 10-minute walk, okay? Easy, right? And I set my gym clothes out, my shoes, my socks, so there's no resistance. I wanna make it really easy for myself. And when I got out to take my 10-minute walk, 10 minutes passed and I was like, well, I'm already out here. I might as well just do another 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes turned into an hour and a half. It was a Saturday morning, so I was able to do that. I felt amazing. So that's the key with activation energy. And I even use it for my day-to-day tasks, for whatever I have to accomplish in my day, whether it's stuff for me or stuff for my job. I basically use activation energy to trick my brain into doing shit all day long. I will revisit that in just a second when I get to starting my work day. So after I work out, walk, whatever, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, I usually come back and it depends on my day. So my days are very fluid. There's nothing that's the same about every single one of my days. I don't think I've ever had 2 days that are identical. I do things that are for me. So I will usually clean one room of my apartment, of my home, because I want to have a space where I feel like it's decluttered, which for me declutters my mind and also makes me feel really good about starting my day. Sometimes it's as simple as just taking out the trash. I take out the trash and I feel like, again, I've accomplished something. Then this is one of the more important parts of my day. I read something or listen to something or watch some video that gets my mind in the right place. So many people want to make changes in their life and they say, I get motivated, I get into it, and then I just kind of fall off. That happens because you are not committed to it every single day. If you want to change something about your life, you have to commit to it every single day. You have to get your mind to that place every single day. So whatever it is that you're working on right now in your life, you have to give it at least 10 minutes every single morning, because that's the beginning of your day. It's so much different than doing it at the end of your day. I promise you, it does not have the same effect in order for you to really change your life in that way. That's why my morning routine was so important for me in changing my life. When I got to the end of 2016 and I needed things to change, it was how I started every day that made that change possible. That's what's important, is that it has to be daily, it has to be habitual, it has to be part of your routine, and it has to be part of your identity. What you do every day is part of your identity. Again, every morning looks a little bit different. Sometimes I spend a little more time reading. I will put some of the things that I love to read or love to listen to. It really depends on what I'm doing that day. And then I love to write. I personally love to write. So you can write in a diary, or you can write, I write about topics. Like sometimes things are happening in my life, or there's topics that I want to explore, and I will just kind of get it all out on paper. I love to write. So that's part of my morning routine. I also love the intention of gratitude every morning. So I start with my 5-minute journal. Again, something else that I've talked about. I do something a little bit different for the 5-minute journal. What I want to tell you about the list of gratitude, you have to pick 3 things that you're grateful for. Try to think of new things that you're grateful for every day. Doing that, looking for new things that you're grateful for, helps your brain scan for positive things in your life. And you do that enough and your brain will naturally scan for positive things in your life. So that's important to remember. Don't try to be grateful for the same thing over and over again. Or listen, it's wonderful to be grateful for, you know, the privilege to be alive, the privilege to have internet access, to be able to watch YouTube videos, to have access to information that can change your life. That's great, but also look for new things that are happening in your life that you're grateful for. And even in difficult times, for me, in difficult times, you're like, how can I be grateful? My life is falling apart. But in difficult times, there are people who shine in your life, who show up and are your friends, or it might be a family member, or it might be a stranger that put a smile on your face. Those are things to be grateful for. So scan, teach your brain how to scan. Try to write down things that you are grateful for, but they are new things. At 7 a.m. is when I start my day. So I start my day, and the first thing that I do is I look at my bank account. This is something that for me has to do with changing my relationship with money. I got my first bank account at the age of 16. We had online banking shortly thereafter. So for the 15 years of having a bank account, I was petrified of looking at my bank account. Petrified of looking at it. There were so many times, you guys, that I overdrafted, that I was worried about, I was gonna look at my bank account and I was gonna have $5 left. But because of I made a choice last year that I wanted to change my relationship with money. And part of changing my relationship with money is being grateful for what I have. And also, you know what? Checking my bank account, I have seen, just in the past year that I've been practicing this, I've seen so many wrong charges in my bank account. I mean, I probably would have lost close to $500 if I had not, who knows how much money I've lost previous to that because I refused to look at my bank account. I know it gives a ton of people anxiety, just the thought of like looking at your bank account every day or looking at your bank account once a month makes you feel crazy. Trust me when I say I understand. For me personally, and I think when you start to change your money mindset, you think of your money differently. You respect your money differently. You pay attention to your money. If you work hard for your money, you should be spending time with it every single day. I know it's not tangible. I know it's electronic and it's just numbers on a screen, but I practice gratitude. Whether I get $7, a $7 paycheck for something, or I make more money than that, I practice immense mindfulness and gratitude for every single penny that I ever receive. That has drastically changed my relationship with money. Now, that's not the whole relationship with money piece of it. That's just one practice that I've been doing for the past year. I start every day with looking at my bank account, and I can't tell you how much that practice alone has changed my life. I think it's difficult independent of whatever other changes that I've made, mainly the mindset, mainly the way that you think about money, the feelings that you have about money. A lot of people have negative feelings about money. And if you have negative feelings about money, why would you ever think that it's gonna show up in your life? Or how are you gonna get creative about making money if you think it's so bad? But that's a whole other video that I will do when I feel like I have more experience, just because I feel like I've been doing it for a year and I've been trying to undo decades, and I mean decades of brainwashing bullshit about money. So I start my day at 7 o'clock with looking at my bank account, and I practice gratitude, and then I actually start my day. When I start my day, that's when I take my phone off airplane mode. I let all the text messages come in, I let all the social media shit come in, but at that point, I'm in a wonderful state of untouchable, where it doesn't matter what's required from me, I'm getting ahead of everything. I feel strong because I've taken care of myself mentally, I've taken care of myself physically, I have taken care of me first, and I'm ready to give the world whatever it needs that I'm willing to give. So I let stuff come in, but now I'm responding from power. I'm not responding from vulnerability, and I'm not responding from fear. My mind is in the right place. So as I start to go throughout my day, anything that I have tasks for, so anything that's emergency, I'll take about 30 minutes to respond to everyone if it's necessary. If it's not, I don't believe in making yourself accessible to everyone all day long. This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. You feel like if you get a text message, you have to respond immediately, or if you get an email, you have to respond immediately, or you have people who fall on the opposite end of the spectrum where they feel like they don't have the perfect response, so they put off responding, even though it becomes a to-do mentally. There's really those two camps of people. I fall into the camp of people where if it's not immediate and it's not emergency, and if it's a friend texts me on a Monday morning, how are you? I'm probably not gonna respond. Shit, they'll be damned if they get a response within the same day. The thing that I use throughout the day that I talked about also for my morning routine is activation energy. So when I have tasks to do, I make my tasks so small that it would be foolish for me not to do them. So I use that all throughout my day. For example, if I have something to write, let's say I have an email to write, I'll tell myself I have to write one sentence of this email, and then I can save it in a draft and I'll send it later. Once I've written that first sentence, now I'm like, I'm here, let me just finish it, and then I can scratch it off my to-do list. You can do this in school. If you have a paper to write, say to yourself, like, I have to put, your name, the date, whatever, the title, and I only have to write 5 sentences, 1 paragraph, and then I can quit. Once you get into that space, you're gonna be like, well, I should just write 1 more paragraph or 2 more paragraphs. Future me will be happy with present me. That's how I trick myself into doing shit all day long. I minimize the overwhelming feelings, because being overwhelmed gives you that anxiety feeling. It makes you afraid. You put too much pressure on yourself, and then you become debilitated. Now you're like, well, shit, I don't want to do any of it. And a lot of people become crippled in that moment where they're like, I would just rather do nothing. And they spend their time procrastinating either on social media, or wasting their time watching Netflix, or wasting their time feeling guilty about having to do something, doing other things, not even enjoying the other things that they're doing, and it's a complete waste of time. Trick yourself by giving yourself small, bite-sized tasks. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because it will cause you to stop productivity altogether. So I give myself really teeny tiny tasks, and I always let myself, I give myself an out, and I never want that out. I always think, I'm here, let's do this. Now, I wanna talk about flow states. This is the thing that I think probably has created the most productive moments in my entire life. The things that I've created in flow states are the things that I'm the most proud of. I'm gonna link 2 books. One is called Flow. One is by Stephen Kotler, and it's called The Rise of Superman. Stephen Kotler talks a lot about flow states. If you don't know what a flow state is, it's basically, have you ever been doing something? It doesn't have to be work necessarily. It could be playing a sport. It could be something that you love. Like for me, I get into a flow state when I'm practicing calligraphy, or even when I'm doing my makeup, I get into a flow state. A flow state is when you do something and you lose track of time, and your creativity and your mind is like buzzing, and you feel like you're just working, and it's almost an out-of-body experience. That's what a flow state feels like in very layman terms. So it's explained in much more technical terms in the books that I suggested. But You've probably felt a flow state at some point in your life. Athletes get into flow states a lot where I don't know how to explain it except for it feels like magic. It literally feels like you are performing magic, or you have magic within you and it's just expelling out of your body with whatever it is that you're doing. For me, it happens to be creating. So I get into flow states when I work with my consulting clients and I have to come up with ideas. Like, my problem solving in a flow state is something that when I look at it, when I'm not in a flow state, I'm shocked at what I'm able to create. And I also love flow states for when I write. You can trigger flow state. That's the beautiful thing. A lot of people don't know that once you come out of a state of flow, you're like, wait, how do I do that again? For me, I use music, and I love music because you can use anything. You can use something visual, you can use scents. I love music because you can take music with you anywhere. So I can activate a flow state when I'm on an airplane, here in a house that I've only been in for a month. I never want my flow states to be because of somewhere, because I can't always be in that place. I want to be able to activate a flow state whenever I'm in the mood to create. My flow state music was a complete accident, okay? It happened, I want to say I really noticed it in college. It may have started a little bit like earlier in college or in high school, I can't remember. But I used to write my papers and do my homework, and I would listen to, you guys are gonna laugh, don't judge, Celine Dion's All the Way album. And whenever I was like into forced productivity, like I had to study or I had to write a paper, especially writing papers, this is why I write in flow states really well, I would listen to Celine Dion's album and then I would nail it. I could create. And doing that over and over and over again, especially in college, now you put on that Celine Dion album All the Way and you give me a topic and I will go into a flow state and create something miraculous and come out of that flow state and be like, I don't even know where that came from. So that's how I activate my flow states. You can train, or it's not even train, associate and condition your brain to music, to scents, to visuals, to create that flow state. There's a whole bunch of other things. Again, read those books if you're interested. I recently created a playlist on my Spotify of like Harry Potter theme song, Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park, Zorro, Star Wars. I will also make that playlist available to you guys. It's already available. A lot of people follow it already, but you can create flow states. So what I did is at times that I was being really productive, I would just play that music, and now my brain is conditioned. I turned on that music and I can go into a flow state. So between that playlist, it makes me really happy. I like listening to music that makes me happy. Music helps me create. So between the Celine Dion album and the theme songs of all those movies, I can go into a flow state whenever I need to go into a flow state. So you can create that flow state. You just have to condition your brain into it. And once you hit that flow state, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it is incredible. I mean, you create and you produce at a level that is unbelievable. I mean, like I said, I still look at myself when I've created things in flow states and I'm like, I did that? I don't know how I did that, but okay, we'll take it. Investing your time into figuring out how to activate your flow state is a worthwhile investment. It's incredible how you are able to create once you have a flow state, and to be able to activate one whenever you need to is like having a superpower. You might have an inkling about how to activate a state of flow. You just have to nail down exactly what's happening. So when I have to do something where I have to hyper focus, I turn on a little Celine Dion. I listen to, theme music from some of my favorite movies that make me happy, or just in general, even music that puts me in a good mood. I am much more productive and I just accomplish so much more. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is meditation. Now, I've talked about the Buddhify app. There's a whole bunch of apps. There's like Headspace. There's a couple of others that are out there. Buddhify is, when I bought it was $4.99. Some people complain that's expensive. I mean, it costs the same as your grande whatever with extra whatever and no whatever at Starbucks. So you think long and hard about how much you want to commit to having better mental health if you're spending that on a Starbucks drink even once a week. So I love the Buddhify app for a number of reasons. I just love the meditations on there. Meditation is important because of this important truth. You cannot perceive your thoughts and be your thoughts at the same time. If I say that and you are confused, you're like hearing crickets and you're like, what the hell did she just say and what does that mean? I would encourage you to do some research on that, read some things about it on Google, or you may hear that and that might send off a light bulb in your head and you're like, oh my God. It is such an important truth to know that you are not your thoughts. Those are two separate things. If you can be a spectator of your thoughts, it is not also you. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, well, what? The reason that it's important for you guys to know this and for everybody to know this is because people identify so strongly with their thoughts, and it's destructive, especially when our thoughts are not good thoughts. And by nature, our thoughts are not good thoughts. You have to train your brain into having positive and good thoughts, but you also have to train your brain into seeing your thoughts as something outside yourself. Like, you are capable of having thoughts that do not define you, and you can watch your thoughts just kind of go by. And the best way to train your brain into doing that is through meditation. Meditation gives you the ability to be a spectator and to see thoughts coming and going and to not necessarily feel them or identify with them. That is an important psychology trick throughout my day, because you have thoughts of anxiety, you have thoughts of fear, you have thoughts of doubt, you have thoughts that are really self-destructive, and it's not possible for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish in this world if you invite those thoughts to have lunch and dinner with you every time they show up, and then you feed them, like you feed that monster as if it's you. If that intrigues you in any way, I highly, highly encourage you go learn more about it. Now, meditation is important because it helps you practice that. It helps you practice seeing, like separating yourself from your thoughts, and also not having or feeling thoughts that you don't want to feel. Meditation is being talked about a lot in general in this world. If you want to have better control of your thoughts and your feelings, and therefore your life at large, it's so important to meditate. A couple of notes on my evening routine. I use a lot of the same stuff that I use throughout my day. I start my evening routine 2 hours early because I like my brain to slowly shut down. I can't go from being on social media to asleep in a minute. That's just not how I function. So my evening routine starts with music. Again, I have a good night music playlist that it's public, so I'll share that with you guys in the description box below. But it's happy music. It's, you know, Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole, and it makes me happy, which makes me fall asleep, but it's also calming music. It's not Stevie Wonder happy. And I use scents, so I wear the Victoria's Secret Heavenly perfume. I spray that on, and that gets me like in the mood to go to sleep. I go through my skincare routine, I do whatever I need to do, but I also wind down very slowly, and I put my phone on airplane mode at around 9 p.m. every night, and I try to be asleep by 10 p.m. Again, recently, I haven't had this routine that I love that I created for myself that's been incredibly life-changing for me, but I'm craving it. Like, I can't wait to get to LA and get settled in and have this routine again. So you can see that I create a lot of associations for the things that I need to get done. I use a lot of music, I use scents, and I use a lot of brain tricks to get things done all throughout my day. So I want to just quickly summarize the things that you can immediately put into action. First, and most importantly, change your morning routine. Start the day. Listen, if you can't give an hour to yourself, try 30 minutes. Just wake up 30 minutes earlier. You will get addicted to the feeling that you have because of your morning routine and start to give yourself more and more time. I promise you this. You won't want to give it up. Especially if you may get tired. You might be extra tired the first few days, but push through, give it 7 days, see how you feel. And truly, if you're trying to make a change in your life, you will get addicted to having a morning routine where you honor yourself first. And that's the key, is don't get up and give yourself to your friends. Don't get up and give yourself to your boss or your coworkers who are emailing you. Don't get up and give yourself to social media and strangers that you've never met. Don't start your day with all that negative emotion of feeling like people are drawing on your energy. Use that morning to fill up, to become powerful, to lower your anxiety, to prep yourself for your day physically and mentally, and it will seriously change your life. The second thing is use music to get motivated and to be productive. Music motivates me in the mornings, it motivates me during the day, and it motivates me to wind down at night. And use music to be productive the way you can use it the way that I use it, where you listen to happy music, things that make you more creative, things that make you happier, or things that activate states of flow. Meditate so you know that you are not your thoughts, because it is dangerous to believe that everything that you think is what you are. And lastly, trick your brain into getting shit done by not making your brain overwhelmed, by not putting too much pressure on yourself. Start with little bite-sized things. Tell yourself that's all you have to do. Make it so small that it would be foolish for you not to do it. And then get started, get some momentum, get some inertia behind you, and then you're gonna plow through your tasks, because you're gonna be like, I'm already here. Sometimes you activate your state of flow and you're like, I don't want to stop. I don't want to switch to another task. I don't want to go watch TV. I don't want to go on Facebook. I'm happy in the place that I'm at right now, and I want to be productive. So Those are things that you can implement immediately. They will have a huge impact on your life. And if you have to choose one, I would say start with your morning routine. Once you start with your morning routine, everything else, you'll get motivated about everything else. You will feel better about everything else. And you'll feel like you're more able to do and implement all of those other things into your life. I truly hope that helps you guys. I always want to give you things that make your life better and make you happier and make you more productive. My belief is if I can help one person not worry about the bullshit in life and achieve the pinnacle of their life, whatever their life is, and contribute something to this world, then I'm doing my job. Then these videos have served a purpose and the time that I commit has served a purpose. I lastly want to say thank you guys so much for everybody that checks in on me, that tells me that I need to create more content, that has left me incredible comments, that sends me messages and emails. You guys have no idea how much you inspire me. I don't do this for me. I do this for you. There is a selfish piece of it. I get the reward of seeing you change your life. And of course that makes me happy, but I wouldn't create if you guys weren't able to take that information and to actively change your life. Then I'd be like, well, I'm doing this for nothing. So I'm excited to be back. The next time you guys hear from me, I will be in LA. I'm ready to get situated and to have like a home. Even though I feel like the world is my home, traveling has taught me that everywhere I go feels like home. I'm ready to get to LA and get into the groove of things and create content. If you want to see that life update video, I would be happy to share. I'd be happy to share some of the more personal things that happened to me over the past year because I've learned a lot. And I actually really want to hear if you guys change your morning routine or find flow states or use activation energy. I love that feedback. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Snapchat. You can leave a comment here. I don't want the video to end, so I forgot how much fun I have making YouTube videos. You guys are amazing. Thank you for everything, and I will see you soon. Bye.